Stoveleg Media, igniting conversation.
Welcome to True Crime to Go. What can I get for you?
I don't much feel like eating today, so I guess just give me the latest news from Kentucky. What you got over there?
Pull up to the second window and we'll see you next crime.
Welcome to True Crime to Go. I am John, here as always with Jamie. How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing good. Having a hard time with my ears today. But
yeah, I don't know. Did somebody come in here and just start messing with the levels?
Yeah, I think it was me.
Okay.
I sat where you sat normally and did some work on my computer, and yeah, now everything's like all messed up. So it's my fault.
I forget.
But even where I'm sitting is still not. But yeah, anyway, we could talk all day about how, I don't know, not fickle.
Maybe fickle.
Yeah, fickle I am.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're here for.
Yeah, today's a tough one. We usually don't bring something this heavy to True Crime to Go, but man, this is local to us, and it's a big one.
It is. If you've been watching anything news related, I feel like no matter where you are in the country, you're probably seeing some awful news out of Kentucky. So today we're going to kind of fill you in on a disappearance of a 10-year-old named Jayden Spicer. And then yesterday as we were recording, so last week as you're listening, this case came to a disturbing end.
Yeah, Jayden Spicer was 10 years old, and he lived in Breathitt County, Kentucky. Breathitt County in the coal mining in the eastern hills of Kentucky. And on the morning of Wednesday, August 6th, Kentucky State Police were notified that Jayden had disappeared. His mother reported that he had gone to bed the night before, but when they got up that morning, he was nowhere to be found. So she thought that he had wandered off in the middle of the night, but there was no sign of him being kidnapped. There was no sign of his departure, and it was a big mystery.
Yeah, so he lived in an area called Panbowl Branch, and that is near the city of Jackson, as you said, in Breathitt County. Authorities released to the public that they were looking for this kid. They say that he likely left the home overnight. As you said, parents woke up Wednesday morning and he wasn't there, and the search efforts began rapidly. There were multiple teams that were deployed. Kentucky State Police troopers were there, local deputies, really agencies from all over Kentucky and other states as well were included in this search. People were able to volunteer. They had canine units. They were using drones, sonar equipment, because there are some ponds near the area, even aircraft. This was just a rapid manhunt. And I think it's worth noting, you mentioned that this was in the hills of coal country. I mean, the terrain just within yards of his house was just mountains on all sides.
Right. And the wildlife that comes with that, for sure. There was a lot of history from his family, with his mother losing custody of children and him being in the custody of his grandmother, and, just a lot of turmoil in his young life. And almost immediately, one of his aunts came forward and said that some of this stuff just didn't add up. Some of this stuff being the story about how he disappeared. She claimed, this is his aunt again, that he was a good boy. He was sweet, loving, hyperactive, and always likes to be on the go, as most 10-year-olds are. She also noted that he's very scared of the dark and very scared of bugs, which usually means you don't go out by yourself at night.
Yeah, especially in this area of Kentucky, because it's dark and there are bugs. I mean, this time of year in Kentucky, if you open my basement door, even in the broad daylight, you're going to hear a ton of insects. It's insane. So it really does beg the question is, why did this kid leave the house? So about a week later, Tuesday, August the 12th, investigators received new information. They received a tip that would lead them to a heavily wooded area off Canoe Road. Around 3 p.m., that's where police would find Jayden's body buried in a shallow grave. This is not really close to their house. I mean, it's close relatively speaking, but it would be about a 20-minute drive. So not something that this young boy would be able to travel.
Right.
And it's very clear if you're in a shallow grave, you didn't put yourself there.
Somebody did that. Yeah. Then the investigation really turned to who did this. And police put some pressure on Jayden's mother, whose name was Felicia Gross, 33 years old. And she confessed readily after they kind of presented her with some of the evidence they have. And she has been charged with second-degree manslaughter, abuse of a corpse, tampering with evidence, and falsely reporting an incident when she told police that Jayden was missing.
Yeah, it's so tragic. It's so much. I mean, there are so many rumors circling around social media posts, and we're not going to dive into any of those. But, I mean, she said this kid was missing. She did release a handwritten note on social media, and it's been circling around, but early in the investigation, she didn't want her name released, and a lot of people questioned that as being odd. And I'll say even myself would be, yeah, why? If you're legitimately looking for your kid, don't you want everyone to know who you are, where you are, and see a picture of this kid? So this is a tragic way for this story to end. I don't think the story's over. I think there's more to it, and I think police have even said that they're not telling the whole story because they are still actively investigating this case. I would dare say that she did not do this alone. So I think it's very possible that in the next coming days, weeks, we'll see more charges filed or even a change to the charges that she's currently facing.
Absolutely. I think the remaining questions, like you said, was anybody else involved? And I think it's going to shift to her mental health status. Is she mentally able to stand trial and be held liable for what happened to Jayden? And I really hope so. It seems like everything she did after his disappearance was very intentional, knew what she was doing. So I think she should be held accountable. But of course, there's so many details yet to come out, and we'll continue to keep you up to date here and over on TikTok with information as it comes out about the charges against Felicia Gross and any others that come.
Guys, this has been a tough one, but thank you for sticking around with us each and every week.
Crime story in 10 minutes or less.
Would you like crime with that?
You've listened to True Crimecast, distributed by Stoveleg Media. Check out stoveleg.com to find out more about your hosts and to find other podcasts to listen to. Stoveleg Media, igniting conversation.